Good morning, everyone. You know, listening to the previous panel where the focus was on physical infrastructure and listening in to Mr. Pandit, because after that I was taken away. So I can only say is that with the data that was thrown in, $250 billion industry growing at a very fast pace, and also looking at the way the sector is not only developing in India, but the way non-metro, metro, spiritual, or for that matter, Prayagraj hosting 60 crore people. I mean, I think it is already shown a might that I would have never even dreamt of. That, you know, we are talking about 2036 Olympics. If Prayagraj can host 60 crore people, then I think we are ready for 20 Olympics. And, you know, as usual, you know, when I was coming here for the presentation, I was asked that if I would like to share some PowerPoints or share some videos. I said, I'm coming here on the third day. If I'm going to do a death by PowerPoint, and if I'm going to only talk through videos, I don't think it's going to be fun. So I'm going to keep it more conversational. I'm going to keep it more, you know, sharing my own experiences in a limited way. Most of you are veterans of hospitality industry, but I'm going to try and remember the best moments of my life as I continued to travel over 40 years. And this 40 years of travel, you know, I was sharing with Ragini when I was coming in. I said, Ragini, the Marriott Hotel in Jaipur, right opposite airport, I go there, the staff attrition is so high. Most of the people that I have seen in the previous visit and the new visit, I mean, they are never the same. Because I think either it's a turnover or it's probably the growth in the industry that people get transferred. But somehow they always remember the food that I like. And the first time I'd interacted with the chef out there, somehow that knowledge is passed on. How does that happen? And I then obviously decided to call up one of the numbers that I had on the phone. I decided to try and get that answer. So I did end up calling up the chef out there and I said, tell me, how did you guys manage this transition? How do you guys manage that personalization? How do you guys do this precision engineering? Because all of us will keep talking about personalization. He said, oh, we have a WhatsApp group in which some of you who are the most important clients for us, we know when you do the booking, and then we share whatever we know about you, and that is why you are able to get the treatment that you do. And I said, okay, so this is technology, the digital infrastructure called WhatsApp, which makes a Marriott in Jaipur different than some of the many luxury hotels that I have gone to where this practice may not be relevant or may not be practiced, or they believe that they impress you more with their phenomenal suites, the phenomenal, I know you guys have a lot of awards for luxury, super luxury, upper luxury, and beyond luxury. But as far as I'm concerned, my best moments are when that individual either recognizes me or talks to me or understands me or gives me the service that I need. And much of it is not because there is a cost, but there is a process which recognizes that need. Similarly, you know, the other reflection was, I was just going through the list of speakers yesterday, and I said, we had two speakers from Make My Trip. We had Deep Kalra, we had Rajesh, And I was like thinking to myself, what is it that differentiates these companies versus many of us sitting here who have invested in hotels, who have invested capital, started going through Booking.com's market cap, which was $100 billion, started going through Marriott, which had whatever, 2 million rooms or 1.8 million rooms. I mean, their market cap was only half of it. Started going through Oberoi's market cap, it was about $3 billion. I started looking at Make My Trip's market cap, I looked at Expedia's market cap, and I said, what is it that is different between the two? Is it the digital infrastructure? Is it understanding the customer? Is it being able to anticipate what the customer wants? Or is it the operating margins? I mean, most of you would obviously agree that hospitality industry has probably recovered from all the COVID shocks, and all of us in hospitality industry know that these are the best years. But despite of it, these best years, what is it that if you were to plot a curve for the future, what would you do differently and how would you end up doing it? I think there are interesting questions that are emerging as we start looking at the businesses and the way we build the businesses. Clearly, most of you are anticipating demand, most of you are anticipating where the next growth wave will come from. Most of us, when we go to Rishikesh, we do believe that wish we had more properties in Rishikesh because of the ARR being what it is. Most of us have now seen the rise of spiritual tourism. Most of us have also seen the rise of wellness tourism. Most of us have also seen that every second marriage, at least Mandeep Lamba meets me more in Jaipur because of the weddings he attends. So I can only tell you is that how come everybody you end up meeting is in these cities like Udaipur, Jodhpur, Jaipur or Goa or Cochin, whereas India is such a large country, how come the wedding tourism is almost like, at least the invitations I get, I don't know about you all, but I can only tell you is that I end up going to these locations. So there is obviously a lot more to be done in trying to figure out how we are able to understand the market, how we are able to understand the geographic shifts that are happening, how we are able to look at the way tourism is changing. Just another reflection. I'm just going through all the reflections for a minute. Earlier, if I were to go to any of the tourism luxury hotels, it used to be almost like 50% will be travelers from overseas. It was 50% the domestic travelers. Today, you go to any of the luxury hotels, or frankly, even I went for a walk on the beach, it is very, very clear that it has now become almost 90% plus domestic tourism. What does it mean? Do I need to adopt the culture? Do I need to change the way I train my people? Do I need to take into account some of the shifts that are happening? Would my restaurant change? Would my food habits change? Would my precision, again personalized approach to the market change? Similarly, when I look at these markets, I'm also in a way intrigued. I'm intrigued is that how come all the chains seem to be, focused on certain market, but they have not taken into account the speed at which people can travel from one end to another by road. So you go to a place like Ranthambore, you know that when the Delhi-Mumbai highway develops completely, I mean, Kota will become a very important destination. When I looked at the magazines in front of me, when looked at the emerging markets, I actually started believing that the road network and the speed at which the road network is being developed and the need for the travelers or the need for the hospitality sector to respond to those tier 2 cities or tier 3 cities, I don't think we are taking into account. So clearly, the industry is not only poised for growth, it is poised for sustainable growth. Sustainable both from the average rate of growth and the sustainability point of view. Now, if these two are also again the trends that we all know that's what the youth will appreciate, and we all know that the differentiator of our business is in knowing the customer or being able to provide that extra level of service, then I start questioning, what are our loyalty programs for? Does our loyalty program know the customer? I mean, a Sanjay Gupta, whom I got to know at Lee Meridian, Jaipur, and I followed him to, his latest stint in Bangalore, he knows me as a customer, but it is Sanjay Gupta knows me. It is not the Starwoods or Marriott Bonvoy's loyalty program. So clearly, there is a need for technology to get ingrained into some of these loyalty programs. Because there's no point in us trying to every day calculate the gross operating margin and say how much of revenue is coming from F&B or how much of revenue is coming from the ARR or which months that we sell properties in Jaisalmer and why do we have a shutdown in Jaisalmer for 4 months. They are all good questions. And we have shown that we have a capability to answer those questions. I think it is time to get down to the next level. And there are 2 points that I want to make out here. Number one, industry is underestimating the growth. You guys you have an opportunity to go in for even more exponential growth because India of today, India of 2030, India of 2040, the number of travelers will only increase. And today's 250 billion or whatever projection that I've seen here, I think you are underestimating it, number one. Number two, AI and the tools are available. Each one of you in your quarterly reports talks about AI and tools, but honestly, if I look at the technology that is deployed in a hotel chain, I think it is very less. And think about it. An airport has a Digi Yatra which recognizes you. Which hotel, when you walk up to the desk, recognizes you? And all these tools are available. It is that video AI or whether it is the knowledge AI or whether it is the neural links AI or a voice AI, all the tools are available. The next one that I would request you all to consider is corresponding to the growth, you need talent. I know we will humanize AI. I know we will continue to humanize technology. I know we will deploy technology to balance the requirements of human requirements to meet the growth. But I think in terms of talent, we will have to all take a conscious decision to increase not only the supply side, but also the quality side. I personally believe, and at least, I noticed this as a traveler. I have this boardroom discussions at Mahindra Holidays. I have this conversation with Ragini at Interglobe. I genuinely believe we all will have to take a pause and say, what is the basic differentiator of our sector? Hospitality is equal to people, and people means culture, culture means training, and I can go on the human side, but trust me, if we are not working on a talent development, we are missing out on a very, very important part of it. So I know that today's script was supposed to be all about AI, and I purposely deviated from it. The reason I'm deviating from it is I think most of us know what automation means. That whether the automation will be in housekeeping or the automation will be turning around a room, or an automation would mean in knowing our customers and being able to cross-sell or upsell to them. Maybe one of these days, like you have a pricing for a room, for a suite or a super deluxe room, I think you will have a pricing for a room which faces the left and the room which is on the corner. I'm sure that you will be able to do that pricing because that data is available to you. I'm sure the check-in formalities, which today at some of the properties can take X number of minutes, can be reduced by 1/10, because whatever automation or whatever work that you would do in pre-processing, I know that in terms of productivity increase, if you have a target of 15%, I can only assure you that the tools are available. 15% productivity is not an ambitious target. It can be achieved, it will be achieved. And I think, again, my personal focus, if I were to take into account of what the advantages of the tools is, I personally believe we can do a lot better in anticipating the demand. We can do a lot better in not only anticipating the demand, but also being able to plan a lot better in terms of what personalization means. It's a great opportunity for all of us to use these tools. The good news is the tools have become very, very friendly. The tools are now available. It is only for us. Just think about it. What is your biggest strength? Your biggest strength is your data. And that data is available. Every time you have had a difficult moment, you have captured it. Every time somebody has had a bad experience or a good experience, you have captured it. And that data is already available in your systems. It is just a matter of being able to. AI is nothing but data, and if we are able to harmonize that data, if we are able to work together with that data, I think India will start leading. It's the same way India stack, whether it is an Aadhaar or a RuPay, it is leading in the world. Most of the countries, even today, you start showing your digital infrastructure and you start suddenly, whether you are in Germany or US, you start feeling a little superior because your digital infrastructure is superior to them. I think we have an opportunity in the hospitality sector to be a lot more experimental, to start taking bold dreams, to take ambitious goals about marrying digital and human. And this is our opportunity. Let's make it big. And if anybody wants to brainstorm on the idea, I promise you I am available, and I'm available 24/7 because I genuinely believe it is India's opportunity to grow faster, India's opportunity to show how to marry technology and personalization. Thank you, guys. Thank you again.